Hello Zane gang, I am making an Amara build for you. You guys have been asking me to do this for a while, checking me out using Amara all the time, so I'm going to do it today. The way I like to make my build videos is I will show you some gameplay to try to show you how the build works, maybe persuade you to want to run it, and then I will go over all of the statistics and build components. This build is called the Electric Bugatti because it moves extremely fast and it deals a lot of elemental damage. This is one of the strongest builds out there right now. This can solo the takedown easily and it can kill every single boss easily. I did my boss rush yesterday. Make sure to go check out that video after this if you would like some more gameplay. Let's jump right into this video. Brave board, let's see what we can do. We are on Mayhem 4. Show the modifiers quick. We got fire damage up. Oh wow, we're gonna do a lot of extra damage here. Maybe I should re-roll. I don't know. Let's just do it anyways. Fire 2 scourges. Phase cast. And hit the cutsman. See how much damage we can do. Dang, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, we're going to do Captain Traunt with this Amara build. We're all buffed up and ready to go. Woo! Look at that damage. It works best when you go up on this and you jump off to get that jumping boost. Trust me, I've killed this fool a lot. Farming for my sellouts. Not sellouts actually, but you know, lower level. You could 2-mag this if I would have hit all those shots. Easily 2-mag Traunt. Alright, we're up to my boy Aggie. Here is our M4 perks. Let's buff up and drop down. Someone taught me a cool trick on Aggie I'm gonna be showing you guys. Is these little razor blade parts. You can actually shoot through it and deal damage and hit his crit spot underneath. Look at that. That's so cool. Thank you whoever said that in the comments. I hope they're watching this video too. Yeah, with Aggie you just want to go through him multiple times. Oh, we got the ad. I'll cut that part. Alright, the ad break is over. Let's kill Aggie. Bam. We only got 3 shots. Can we kill him? Bang! There you go. That is Aggie on M4. Flashed in here to tell you to make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's right below the video. Hit that button so you can see some more of my content. Alright, we're on M4 Tyreen. Here is our challenger fires. Let's drop down there and see what we can do. Ooh, not bad. Not bad for 1-mag. It's nice in this arena because it's so big. Gives so much room to run around and do activities. Don't want to skip this phase. We want her to go down, so we gotta wait for her to get up. She's up. Now we have to damage her. Hopefully enough damage to go to the next phase. Nope. We have to wait for her to jump through. Alright, now she's back. Bang. Buff up a little bit. Dropping down. Pow. We don't want to skip this phase, but we already just did. Pretty close. Okay, no, cool, we did. Alright, now we should be able to finish her right here. Because you skipped the last phase. That's what you got to do. Pow. Pow. Now we just go full throttle on her. Oh no, is she gonna get away? Ah, we got her. There you go. There's Tyreen M4. Alright, here we go. Time to go over the Electric Bugatti Amara build I am having a whole lot of fun using. And I know you guys have been waiting for the build. I was waiting for a little bit of reaction from Gearbox. I don't know if they've reacted all the way yet to nerfing this build. Maybe they did. We'll see. I don't know. It's a pretty strong build. I wouldn't be surprised if it was nerfed again. But let's go over what we got going on here. We'll start with the equipment. I always use the Cutsmans because Cutsmans are always very strong. And I have some good anointed ones, finally. So I rock the nice corrosive Cutsman. And it has a good anointment on it as well. The anointments do help out this build a lot. So as long as you get one that deals extra damage on action skill and doesn't matter which one, you'll probably be good to go. So that's what I got on my corrosive one. On my fire one, I have a phase cast one, which is only situational, really. It's nice for Grave Ward, though. My Queen's Call, I am only having that on to apply terror to myself right now, but be happy to know you do not need terror on this build at all. Most of those other clips, I didn't even use terror. You don't need terror to run this build. Don't worry about it. It does add a little bit of extra damage, but I'm only using it because I don't have everything I want yet. But for right now, I only have the Queen's Call on to give myself terror. I'm using the Melter. If you didn't watch my last video, I highly suggest going and watching it. The Melter is a lower level sellout that you can get so you deal less damage to yourself. So I'm using this to buff myself to give Elemental Projector and to give Mindfulness stacks, which we'll go over a little bit more in a minute. Some other weapons I do like to use here is I like to use the Crossroads a lot. I like to use the Shock Cut Spin. The Shock Brainstormer is one of the most lethal weapons on this build. It makes the takedown very easy. TDR chucking is really good on this build with all the speed buffs, so Everblast will be very strong. That's why I have these here. I don't use TDR that often, but it was cool to try them out. Scourge is really good because the way this build works is your buffed damage matters when it hits the target rather than when it leaves the barrel. So when you're shooting a Scourge off and you start running around, it matters when it hits the target, which we'll go over a little bit more later. Some Fearmongers were good too because I was running a little bit of terror on here. But Crossroads, Cutsmans, Brainstormers, TDR, there's not really a bad weapon for this build. They're all really good as long as you can move around and shoot. Pretty much every weapon is very viable on this build. For the shield, I am using the Recharger just specifically because it's giving me terror ammo regen, and that's just a placeholder for now until I get the shield that I want. I don't really care what shield I get that I have to use it with, but I want a shield that gives me something similar to my grenade mod. I'm only using this grenade mod for the anointment on it. On action skill end gains 50% bonus fire damage with weapons for 10 seconds. I want something just like that on my shield, so I'm waiting for that. With my grenade mod, I do have a radiation one as well and a shock one. I'm waiting on a corrosive one. I want a corrosive grenade. I haven't found that one yet, but it helps attune to your element. With this build, you attune to your element a lot. That's how you should be running this build and Amara in general. Now this uses the newest class mod that has came out for her that made her really lethal. Whenever Amara activates her action skill, she applies her action skill element to herself. Now that helps proc Mindfulness and the Element Projector, which we're still getting to. Amara's gun damage is increased while moving. The quicker she moves, the greater the gun damage. So she basically gets Zane's Violent Momentum, but instead of the bullets being buffed when they leave the barrel, the bullets are buffed when it hits the target. That's the difference between Amara's speed boost and Zane's speed boost. For my artifact, I probably wouldn't have been running this if it wouldn't have dropped, but I'm running an Elemental Projector loaded dice. Now, any variant of the Elemental Projector is about what you want to use here. It doesn't even matter. A Deathless Elemental Projector would be good too. Anything with Elemental Projector is good. I'm just using this because I like luck and it gives me more legendaries. I also have an increased mag size on this too, so look for that. Magazine size, elemental boost, action skill cooldowns. Look for some stuff to buff your build for the artifact slot, but make sure you have the projector. All right, now we can get into the skill tree. I'm trying to go quick because I know I can make these videos pretty long. So here's the skill tree that I am currently using. I do have it set up so you can run all three elements on Amara, which is great. I'm always using Phase Grasp as my ability, except when I need to use that Phase Cast Cutsman on Grave Ward. It's about the only time I've ever taken this off, but otherwise it always has Phase Grasp on. The elements change to what you're dealing with. Now, since I play solo, I pause my menu a lot during boss fights to swap my element if I have to use something else. You know, if I have to go from shock to corrosive, I'm going to switch my weapons and gear around a little bit and switch my attunement around. I call this the attunement. I'm not exactly sure what it is called, But basically, yeah, so if you want shock, you need to take off what's there. So I press Y for Xbox, and I can go over to the right menu, and I press A on the attunement to turn it into shock. Now, if I want to run fire, I just come over to the skill tree right here, and I press A on the fire one. If I want to run corrosive, I press A on the corrosive one. Want to go back to shock, I have to come over and take it off. Shock isn't on the skill tree. That took me a minute to figure out. I was a little bit confused. I thought there was only corrosive and fire, but there is shock. It's just the standard one. And when I do switch my element here, I am switching my gear here. I am switching my grenade mod is mostly what I'm referencing. I'm switching it to the shock version, the radiation version, or the fire version, whichever one's most relevant to me at the time I'm using it. I don't even hardly ever throw grenades on this build, but it would help if you had a nice grenade. But now we'll just go over the skill trees quick. I went with this bottom effect because it gives extra elemental damage just to stack with the build. This perk right here is very important. Amara gains lifesteal whenever she deals elemental damage with her weapon. That's really important. If you're running the Brainstormer on this build, you can like never die if the chain is active. As long as the chain's active, you just like absolutely cannot die, which is really good for the takedown and really lethal. Now, with the green tree is the other tree I use. I guess I did put some into blue. In the green tree, the most important skill right here is mindfulness. Whenever Amara takes damage, she gains a stack of mindfulness. For every stack of mindfulness, she gains improved shield regen delay and movement speed. Stacks decay after a few seconds. Now, you can get up to 25 stacks of this, and with my class mod added onto this, I get 5% movement speed per stack. So I get about 125% movement speed, and I deal more damage while I move. So it's great because I'm moving faster and I'm dealing more damage. As long as I'm hurting myself is the thing, but you have to find a low damage method of hurting yourself. The rest of these skills are just added damage stuff, added survivability stuff. I'll go through the trees again. Here's the green tree, here's the blue tree, and here's the red tree. Now for my passives, I just put on Allure. It makes it so when you phase cast something or phase grasp something, it creates a singularity that pulls enemies in. That is really nice. Also, when I use phase grasp, I am normally running Ties That Bind. I didn't have it on right there because I swapped to grasp a little bit ago. But Ties That Bind makes it so when you phase grasp a target, it deals the same amount of damage to everything around in the area. It adds to chaining effects like the Brainstormer to clear out mobs a lot faster. Alright, now to finish up this build, I want to go over how I am damaging myself to get my mindfulness stacks, which we just went over, to get these movement speed stacks, and to also get the projector damage. So the way the projector works is whatever element I am suffering, I deal 90% more damage. So if I have damage over time of fire, I'm dealing extra fire damage, which is why you want to tune yourself around to whatever damage type you plan on dealing next. And currently, I am set up to run fire with my grenade mod. I have my melter, and then we also have the class mod. Whenever I activate my action skill, I apply elemental damage to myself of whatever I am attuned to, which I'm attuned to fire right now. So I'll show you what I mean. Now, luckily with phase grasp, if you do not look at a target, you get the cooldown back instantly. There's no delay. You get it back instantly, like so. I look at that. There's no enemies. I instantly got it back. So I can endlessly cast this, which is great because now I have 25% mindfulness stacks and I'm running around. I gave myself terror as well since I'm holding out the Queen's Call, but again, it's not that relevant. You don't need terror to run this. You just need some of the other stuff. But see how fast I am moving now. I could be shooting and dealing a lot of damage with this movement speed buff. Now for times that I am running the phase cast version to deal cut spin damage, I am using my melter and I buff myself with that. Now look, I could just shoot the ground and hurt myself, and I'm taking very little damage, but I still get my movement speed buff and my projector damage, which is really great. Now you can get this melter in pretty much any variant you want. I got a shock, I got another corrosive one that's on me. It works with anything, any kind of way you want to run this build you can. It's pretty standardized. There's so many different ways you could add this on. This is the way that I am currently running it. Now, this grenade mod attribute is extremely important to the build, too. You need some form of this anointment to run this build. It doesn't matter the element. The other elements, or the specific elements, will add to your damage, but you need some form of the 50% boost. I'll show you what I mean. See, my stacks are capping at 15 right now. That's because I did weapon damage to myself. I didn't do the ability damage. Now, when I do ability damage with this grenade mod on, boom, I did my ability damage to myself from the driver. I'm going up to 25. All right, I'm capped off at 25. That's perfect. I'm at max stacks. I got my 125% movement speed, running very fast. Wait for the stacks to decay, which only take a few seconds. All right, the stacks are gone. Now, when I do not run a grenade mod with something like this, if I just run any other grenade mod or one that doesn't have an anointment like it, and I driver myself like this, it will cap the stacks at 15 like so. See, it will not go any higher. You need a grenade mod or shield that gives that 50% on action skill end. Thank you for checking out today's video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up button. If you have not joined the Zang Gang yet, subscribe to the channel. I make builds and tutorials all the time. I make a video almost every single day for you. Here are 2 videos I suggest you to watch. One of them is the boss rush from yesterday, where I use this build to kill all the story bosses as quick as I can. I'll see you guys in the next one. Spikes out!